Jeffrey loves the idea of self-improvement. He consistently watches all of this content on just self-improving, and he locks himself all day taking notes, grinding on this self-improvement videos. He believes the fallacy of these notes are gonna make me better and actually help me self-improve. But within the next year, he actually gets nowhere in life. He stays in that same position. And then there's Adonis. Adonis understands that self-improvement trap, and he understands that he has to avoid it. Once he realized this, he began actually focusing on the work that he actually cared about. And now, 1 year later, Adonis is actually rich and famous. So what I want to go through today is actually the self-improvement trap. Last year, I just consistently fell into that same cycle of self-improvement. And I was just not fulfilled with my life because the self-improvement trap is real, because I've been there as well. I've literally fell into that same cycle of false fulfillment, feeling like you're actually doing work when in reality nothing's really being produced. Sure, I was taking notes on all these important topics, but nothing really happened. I was still in that same position as I was, and nothing actually got better for me. I mean, sure, I got a bit of knowledge, but what I did was I sacrificed everything in order to gain nothing. And that's what happens when you fall into this trap of self-improvement. And that's why they tell you to stop consuming all of this self-improvement content, because in the end, all you're doing is consuming content. You're not changing the fact that you're not actually doing anything with your life. The main point here was, when I was doing all of this, I just thought to myself, I'm gonna be grinding, hustling, but I never thought about the repercussions it would have on my actual own life. And because of this, now I feel like I'm in a worse position than I was, because I was learning all these things, but I wasn't actually taking the time to actually apply the knowledge. I had this consistent mindset that I thought I was better than everyone else, and I didn't need to go to these events or parties because I was self-improving. And when I realized it now, like looking back, all I was doing was just watching content. I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't recording videos. I wasn't making a business. I was just taking notes on videos. And I don't blame myself for that. It's just that I wish I would have learned earlier to not keep scrolling on this content, because I wasn't doing anything with it. I have this like stack of notes, but what is the stack of notes if I don't apply it anywhere? If I don't teach it to someone, if I don't talk to anyone about it? And that's the little cycle that you're stuck in, because you think you're better than everyone else because you know all of this stuff, but you actually never do anything with it. You don't teach it. You don't tell anyone about it. So it's like, what are you learning this for? And what I realized was that I did this for my own comfort. It's comfortable being inside, locked in a room, just watching videos. You feel fulfilled. And you don't need to do anything, you don't need to go outside, you don't need to talk to people. That's the level of enjoyment you actually get, which is what you think is fulfillment. And that's the worst part about it, is like, you actually don't develop the skills you actually need in order to survive, because you're consistently locked up. You don't know how to talk to people, you don't know how to present yourself, you don't know how to shake a hand. And when people ask you what you've done, what do you have to show for it? I mean, sure, you've learned it, but can you actually remember every single thing you wrote down and precisely recite it to them? You probably can't. So what you need to do is actually apply the knowledge to anything. And you need to find that one thing that you really enjoy and actually do it. Stop watching these videos on it. Just actually become that person you're watching. You need to become that person. You're not just a scroll anymore. You're someone better. And you need to remove that old sense of identity that you have of yourself. The level of comfort is what keeps you stuck in the same loop because of that consistent fear of being better. And I find that with more intelligent people, they're often stuck inside of their minds, just thinking about every situation that has never happened, and they're contemplating everything, but in reality, they don't even take action. They let the person who's maybe a bit dumb and they don't think about what they do and they just go for it. And the person who always takes the first step forward will always be much further away than the person who never moves. So the point here is to actually just take action on whatever you're learning, apply it, tell people about it. You need to show people what you're doing, and the truth is no one actually does care about what you're learning. Just tell them about your life, and if they don't like it, who cares? You can just tell someone else. You can have a new friend. None of this stuff really matters, and in the end, we all die. So, something that is actually quite beneficial as well is actually just going out. You don't need to do anything. Just go outside to a cafe or something. Make sure you just not consistently in your room thinking you're doing something. So naturally your experiences will lead to your stories, which will lead to a more fulfilled life and a more interesting life. So when people tell you or talk to you, you can relate it back to all of the experiences that you actually have. And when someone asks you, what did you do today? You can actually feel fulfilled. You can be proud in yourself knowing that you actually made something. Because at the end of the day, when you go to sleep, you need to ask yourself, did you really feel fulfilled today? Did you really make a difference? If you didn't, then go back tomorrow and do something fun. And that's something that I just always just forgot, because I was in that consistent mindset of that you need to be a hustler, you need to be grinding, you don't need to be interacting, you should just lock in. But that's not the truth at all. If you just lock in like this, you're not going to develop the social skills you actually need in order to thrive in the real world. Because in the end, you're never going to be just cooped up by yourself for the rest of your life. You're going to have an interaction no matter what. So the difference is the person who can actually interact versus the person who can't talk at all. And if you can't talk, you're never going to make it in life. And that's just the truth. So to get rid of this loop, you need to be taking actions on the things that you've actually learnt. Go and explore new places as well, every week, maybe once, and focus only on one thing. I want you to focus on one task and actually just do that specific task for the whole day. And when I mean one task, I mean the most return on investment task. If you're a content creator like me, that would be just working on making the best video possible. And then secondly, just relax a bit, Look at your life and just think, slow it down. Slow everything down and actually just focus on going and having fun, partying. It doesn't matter if you have one drink, okay? Don't be so hard on yourself. Alright? Thank you for watching. I'll see you at the top.